Hear from a woman who's had one breast enlarged and the other one reduced thanks to a special offer from Woman's Realm. And that's good night from me. But first we have to go over to the newsroom for a newsflash. Hello. It's just been reported that rebel forces have invaded and captured government buildings in a staged military coup on the tiny island of off the West African coast. Allied forces from the Rene and Renato countries... Sorry, from the 3 NATO countries, have spent the night dug in on the outskirts of the capital, Jitsaki.
Welcome. Let me say that we are staying with the situation on the tiny island of and completely abandoning our usual schedule for the rest of the day. So, in place of our Keep Fit expert, Mad Hattie, talking to Felicity Kendall about the hip and thigh diet, Mad Hattie will be talking about the military build-up and the possible implications of conflict on the Western Alliance, with her special guest, Felicity Kendall.
And to avoid causing any offence to people thinking of their loved ones abroad, I Love Lucy will not now be shown and will be replaced by a repeat of the classic comedy series Dad's Army.
And the film of the Jungle Book, out of deference to our troops out there in the jungle, will be replaced by a repeat of the documentary Death on the Rock.
And our late-night 50s film starring Joan Collins has also been withdrawn because, quite frankly, it's crap.
And now let's go over to the newsroom again.
Yes, thank you, Mike. We have unconfirmed reports coming in saying that our last report has, in fact, been confirmed. But as I say, that has yet to be confirmed.
Now, we have some extraordinary up-to-the-minute technology to get you pictures live from Jitsaki. Neil Tobin here is head of our technical operations at KYTV. Neil, how will we be receiving these pictures?
Well, we'll be getting the pictures live from the ground in Jitsaki using microwave technology.
Amazing. So people will actually be able to pick up these pictures on their ovens, will they?
No, it doesn't quite work like that.
No, of course not. No, you'll need to retune your ovens from anti-defrost, of course.
There's nothing to do
Oh,
with
so we're still early days with that particular technical breakthrough, but fascinating anyway. Thank you very much. And now I believe we have to go over to the newsroom once again.
Well, we do have a report which I must stress is unconfirmed, but from all the indications that are currently available to us, it appears that traffic is being badly delayed on the M4 flyover. So you are advised to seek alternative routes, Mike.
Many thanks for that. Well, with us in the studio are 2 experts in their respective fields, General Sir Peter Major and Major General Herbert. Major...
Yes?
Obviously, a slight confusion here. Perhaps we could call you Major General and General Major General. No, it's even more confusing. So, Sir Peter.
Yes?
You're Sir Peter as well?
Yes.
Right. Well, General Sir Peter Major, then.
Yes.
If I could ask your colleague, where you think the Allied troops will strike first? If you could pick up the magic pen and use the screen.
Well, my guess would be a ground assault on the west, a ground assault on the east, and a pincer movement from the south, combined with possible paratroop landings on the north coast.
Yeah. I seem to have drawn a rude picture. I'm terribly sorry about that.
Yes, not to worry.
There is a crisis on KYTV.
And let us now go straight over to the tiny island where I believe we can join a military briefing with Lieutenant General Nicholas Strathmine.
Gentlemen, if there are any questions, I'd be delighted to answer them.
James Denton, BBC. Exactly how many troops are we commissioned to the area?
I can't give you precise figures at this moment due to operational reasons. Yes?
An adapter, KYTV News. How do you spell lieutenant?
L-I-E-U.
Different from the American spelling, then?
No, I don't believe so.
Thank you very much.
Right. Next question.
Martin Brown, KYTV News. Regional desk. How do you spell general?
Look, could we move on to operational matters, yes?
An adapter, KYTV News. Will our troops have guns at all?
You're taking the piss now, aren't you? Look, one last question.
Martin Brown, KYTV News.
Yes, what is it?
Well, we've read a lot about the strike capability of the F-16s and Buccaneers with regard to the ballistic capacity of the Soviet MiGs.
Yes.
Now, what I would like to know is, will these planes be flying in the air at all?
Into the valley of death. Tom, rode our brave British troops to save the tiny island of Num.
Welcome back. Major General. Sorry to interrupt. Well, joining me now is peace campaigner John Hartley. Now, John, you, of course, have been an outspoken critic of this government's policy. Do you think this is a necessary war?
No, I don't think it is, because...
Why is that?
I was just going to tell you.
OK, go on, tell me.
Yes, I shall do.
Good.
I think this is an unnecessary war, because...
OK, well, a controversial viewpoint there, then. And I gather we have just heard that a Ministry of Defence spokesman has just made a statement. Apparently the Ministry are not yet officially prepared to confirm the presence of British troops on the island yet, but they are apparently prepared to confirm that Africa is a continent.
So, could we, should we, would we go to war, Major General?
Well, now, what we have to remember... oh, dear, I've forgotten what it is we have to remember.
It's not so much a matter of where the troops...
John, I'm going to interrupt you there. Thank you. General, can I ask you the all-important question? What's morale like?
Well, yes. As you know, last week my mother died, so I have been feeling a wee bit beyond the pale lately.
No, the morale of the troops.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't want to speculate and make assumptions about things I've under the scantest knowledge of.
Well, I don't know what you're doing on this show, then. Major General, did you remember what it was you forgot you had to remember?
I did, yes.
Good.
But I'm afraid I've forgotten it again.
Well, then, not to worry, because I believe we can go over now to the newsroom, where news is coming in at this very minute.
News update.
Oh, well, news is coming in at this very minute. But for now, it's back to Mike in the studio.
It's you.
Of course.
It must be 10 years.
You are as beautiful now as you were that first night. Please, let me get you a drink.
Oh, thank you. I'd like it.
No, don't tell me. A Contro brandy with ice.
You remember.
I remember everything. You drank Contro with ice that first night. I wonder why.
Well,
No, don't tell me. You are an English woman. You need the warmth of the French brandy to melt the ice of your heart.
No. I need to be pissed to get off with a slimy little frog like you.
Contro, the fancy French liquor.
KYTV.
Welcome back, and let's now go over to Jitsaki for a special report on conditions out there from our woman with her well-manicured finger on the pulse, an adapter.
Life here is pretty Spartan. Room service is virtually non-existent after midnight, and most of us have to do without a proper jacuzzi in the morning. My own quarters are small and compact, as a number of the soldiers have remarked. A simple bed, a bedside lamp, and a small but adequate television studio from which to send back reports. The heat is hard to describe, but at midday I can tell you, it's absolutely gorgeous. Well, this is an adapter from the British news pool, being terribly brave on the tiny island of Minam. Cheers.
Excuse me. I think I left my towel on this sandbed this morning.
Yes, I chucked it in the pool.
News and views as they come in, live here as it happens, exclusively and only on the world's first live news and views exclusive as it happens station. With halftime analysis from Trevor Brooking, it's KYTV.
General Major, what is your view of events so far, insofar as there have been any events, which of course there haven't?
Well, as I said on BBC News this morning, and later on ITN, and after that on Sky News, and then on London Jazz Radio. There's far too much coverage of this war on the media.
Right, well, let me make KYTV's own position quite clear. In our coverage, we are not prepared to give away anything that could be of use to the enemy. But what we are prepared to give away are these fabulous I Watch the War on KYTV T-shirts. One size fits all from Sofa Shop, our comfy dollar deal home shopping channel.
So why don't you buy one today and do your bit for the troops out there? Well, let me tell you that the United Nations are currently debating a last-minute peace move presented by the French. The French, of course, very keen to preserve the peace because they are the only country still selling arms to both sides.
And at this moment, over in the United Nations, we can see the Yemeni ambassador, I think it is, replying to the Australian delegate, saying he disputes his country's stance, and furthermore, Kylie is crap since she changed her hairstyle.
And the Mayor of Rochdale is flying out to Jitsaki in a last desperate attempt to get himself re-elected Mayor of Rochdale. John, you've been an active member of the pacifist movement, if that's not a contradiction in tenses. How would you resolve this conflict?
Well, I think it's nothing to do with us. I mean, I'd call the troops back now and let the good people of Jitsaki sort it out for themselves.
What if we'd acted like that in 1939?
It would have been 52 years too early.
I'm talking about Hitler. If we'd listened to your sort then, there'd have been no Second World War, no Battle of Britain, and 40 million people would not have lost their lives. What sort of way is that to behave?
Well, I think we're all agreed, and none of us wants to live through a war again.
You can't say that.
Can't?
You can't say you don't want to live through a war again if you haven't actually lived through a war.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious.
Did you live through the last World War?
I don't really think that's anything to do.
Did you live through the last war?
Well, I'm only 25.
Don't try and fool me with statistics. Did you live through the last war?
No.
Well, then how do you know you don't want to live through one?
I just don't want to be bombed.
Have you ever been bombed?
Well, that's nothing to do with anything.
Have you ever been bombed?
No.
Well, then how do you know you wouldn't like it?
Obviously.
You might quite like it. Lots of the lads in the last war got quite taken with it. They said it was the only chance they had to find out what they were really made of.
Well, I know just what I'm really made of, and it's the sort of stuff I don't want to see redistributed across half of Dorset.
Do you know Dorset?
Yes.
Where? What part?
General, this is the most pointless argument I've ever had.
How do you know?
Because it is.
Why?
Well, thank you, General. Let's move on.
No, let's not.
And let's find out how things are going down in the city.
Have you ever gone down in the city?
Well, the conflict in Jitsaki, the widespread food shortages and mass human suffering have all led to a hugely buoyant and optimistic market. The value of money shares has quadrupled overnight, and most leading brokers are going out for a right royal piss-up at lunchtime.
And I gather the price of oil has gone up.
Yeah, that's right. There isn't actually any oil in Jitsaki, but the oil companies have taken the opportunity to put the price up anyway.
And I understand the fascist junta of Bolivia have declared they will send troops to help the British. General, have Bolivia long been allies of this country?
No, I think they just like killing people.
I see. Mike?
Well, a good many entertainers have flown over to Jitsaki to do their bit for the troops. Nicholas Parsons, Shawadi Waddy, Dana and Ernie Wise have all gone over to appear in a specially televised gala evening, completely for free. In fact, some have actually paid quite large sums of money to be included. And one comedian who's going over tomorrow at the personal request of his manager is here with us now, Dickie Four Fingers Joy. Now, Dickie, one small point before we start. Your name, why are you called Dickie Four Fingers Joy?
How many fingers am I holding up?
4.
That's me, Dickie Four Fingers Joy.
Well, I think that answers my next question on the subject of personal insanity, but for the time being, let me ask you, what do you hope to bring to the troops out there?
Well, Mike, when you've been in the business as long as I have, 5 minutes. No, only kidding. 10 minutes. Only kidding again. No, but seriously, though, I feel I just want to go out there and do my bit. Well, not do my bit because she's at home, but seriously, though, no. I feel I just want to say how lucky I feel that God has given me the ability to make people laugh.
Yes, clearly.
No, but really, I feel that being funny is like second nature to me. Well, actually, it's like first nature, because I lost me first.
Dickie, simply stop there, dear. I cannot take any more.
You can't get the wood, you know.
hysterically funny, but I think, unfortunately, we do have to go over to the newsroom. Oh, no, unfortunately, we don't have to go to the newsroom. So I'm still talking to Dickie Four Fingers Joy. Tell me about your mother-in-law.
Oh, my mother-in-law. I call her Sherman, you know.
Why is that?
I don't know, I haven't worked that one out yet.
News, update.
No news in just yet about the location of the new troops. General Major, do you have any news about the location of the new troops?
No, I've been sitting here in the studio, haven't I?
Well, we understand that the President is trying to divert attention from the real problem by linking the current crisis with the Arapaho Indian conflict, which some observers are sceptical about, seeing as how it took place 6,000 miles away and was resolved in 1857.
What sort of man is the new president?
Born to the wealthy ruling Aljaro family, he was educated in Jitsaki, Malawi and Winchester, where he learnt to blend in conspicuously with his new Western surroundings. Passing only one O-level in home economics, he was left with the only option of going to Cambridge University.
At Cambridge, he immediately embarked on a glittering career in acting, plentiful as the opportunities were for a black actor, playing Othello in the Drama Society's production of Othello. Othello in his college's production of Othello, and somewhat controversially, Othello in the Drama Society's production of Mary Poppins.
As president, he has not been without friends. His keen trade with Britain and the US in firearms and explosives was only halted at the last minute when a lorry bound for Jitsaki was found to be carrying 40 cruise missiles and an atomic bomb.
The now legendary super bomb affair was satisfactorily explained away by the government, who said they believed the weapons were being used to manufacture baby milk.
Now, President Aljaro has built up a formidable arsenal. F-16s made in the USA, J-11s made in France, and A-40s made in Dagenham, which he used for target practice.
Comment, discussion, analysis, chat. Comment, chat, analysis, chat. Chat, rabbit, chat.
Well, let's see what our allies across the water think. Two nations divided by a common language, we were once described as, but two nations always very much united by the prospect of a good war. Over in Washington, we have the new Secretary for Defense, Ed Bergerstein, and in our New York studios, a randomly selected audience of American nationals. But if we could start off with one or two opinions from over there in New York.
Yeah, I don't think it's right that Americans should be bearing the brunt of this conflict. And I think that if Americans start getting injured, then other countries like France and Japan should be prepared to injure some of their own citizens to help out.
Thank you. What about your government? Are you happy with the way George Bush has handled it so far?
I think in order to safeguard democracy, President Bush should be allowed to do exactly what he wants to do, and no one should be allowed to contradict him.
Yes, that's democracy in the dictatorial sense of the word, of course. Mr. Bergerstein, it doesn't sound as if Washington is taking this terribly seriously.
What do you mean? We've just sent Vice President Quayle over there.
Right, well, Mr. Bergerstein, stay with us for a moment, will you?
Certainly. Do you want to ask me anything else?
No, I just wanted to have a quick sandwich while the cameras weren't on.
All right.
Right. Prawn and banana, unusual. Major General, are you confident?
Well, I'm confident we very much know what sort of weapons the military junta will be using.
Why is that?
We only sold them to them a few months ago.
Put a KYTV Support Our Boys satellite dish on your roof.
Right, well, let's go back to Anna.
Well, I've been with the boys for a few hours now, Mike, and I'm pleased to say they've taken me to their hearts.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yes. I've already been invited by various soldiers I've met to go on bush patrol, to have a look at their ground rations and enjoy a game of late-night baseball.
Yes, I gather you're the only woman there, then, Anna?
Yes, that's right, Mike, but my sex doesn't come into it with these boys.
Really?
Anyhow, I must go, Mike, because one of the soldiers has asked me to go to first base with him.
Has he?
Yes, and after that, apparently, we're joining a friend of his for a chocolate sandwich. Yummy.
I'm sure he will be.
KYTV.
let's turn to the naval position, Major General. Now, our ships are outside here, waiting just outside the harbour, led by HMS Lowestoft.
Why has it got a bright red funnel on it?
Well, I believe Lowestoft has a red funnel.
It's got a jolly little man with a red nose on the front as well.
Yes, anyway, this is HMS Lowestoft.
Yeah, well, why is it called Mother Care?
Well, we just had to get some models from rather short notice. Now, the whole harbour is filled with these magnetic mines.
Yes, that's right.
Now, I gather these mines are based on the same principle as these magnetic giraffes that people stick on fridges.
They're absolutely the same. The only difference is that the magnetic mines blow up everything within 100 yards, whereas these little magnetic giraffes just slide slowly down the side of the fridge.
Well, our reporter Mike Cable is outside number 10 Downing Street, waiting for a statement from the Prime Minister.
Well, there is still no news from Downing Street as to whether Mr. Major will be making a statement. There is, of course, every indication that he may well wait until tomorrow before making the statement. And knowing the Prime Minister well as I do, I'm sure he'll keep his cards close to his chest. At the moment, we can only speculate as to what he will say if and when he does break his silence on this matter. But rest assured that if any news is forthcoming from Downing Street, you will hear it here first on KYTV News. Back to you, Mike.
Still, let's turn to the question of gathering information, because I believe our troops have been equipped with a sophisticated lie detector to use with enemy agents, and to see how it works, Martin Brown has offered to be a guinea pig.
What's your name?
Martin Brown.
Right. What do you do?
I'm a professional TV news reporter.
Is that the truth?
Well, I'm a broadcaster, then.
You have to try something else. Try Wally.
I'm a Wally, then.
Yeah, it accepts that. Do you get a lot of fan mail?
Oh, yes, lots of people send me. Well, one or two, then. Well, one. My mother always...
No, it doesn't accept you have a mother.
Oh.
Have you ever made love to a woman?
Yes. Well, no, then.
Okay, have you ever kissed a girl?
Yes, of course I have. Maybe not, no.
Right. Have you ever held hands or had any physical contact whatsoever with a member of the opposite sex, Martin?
I once had a female goat as a girlfriend. Why isn't it buzzing?
When you brush your teeth at night, use a recognized brand of toothpaste. Brush your teeth from top to bottom and rinse your mouth out thoroughly afterwards with clean water. Don't. Use a tube of Germaline, brush your teeth with a Brillo pad, and rinse your mouth out afterwards with half a pint of urine.
That was an insultingly obvious dental health message.
The new KYTV dish has been significantly improved to give you, the viewer, even better service. A newly designed mobile dish is now available for use with a portable television. And since our friendly merger with BSE, KYTV has developed a brand new dish which allows you to receive both stations without needing two dishes. KYTV, simply streets ahead. KYTV!
Well, it would only be fair to say that we have had some criticism of our coverage. Mrs. Donahue phoned to complain that when broadcasting in the middle of an air raid warning, one of our reporters unforgivably split an infinitive. Struth, I've got to get the hell out of here quickly, it should be, she says, and not, Struth, I've got to quickly get the hell out of here.
And that's something we'll be sure to very much bear in mind. Well, we are now able to, hopefully, talk to the pilot of one of the planes heading back from Jitsaki.
That's correct, we are.
Now, I gather you're flying at twice the speed of sound.
About 3 o'clock.
And what time do you expect to arrive?
Yes, thank you. I went before I came out.
And have you completed your functions out there?
Sorry, I misunderstood you.
Sorry, are you still travelling at twice the speed of sound?
About 3 o'clock.
So?
No, we're actually travelling at half the speed of sound now.
Okay, well, many thanks for talking to us.
Hang on a minute, I've got some idiot from KYTV coming on the line to talk to me.
Update, update, update. Summary.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I see. Yes, I know I said I'd get home in time for the flambéed apricots, but I'm still stuck here, unfortunately.
Other news briefly, a nuclear bomb has exploded in Belgium. The country, formerly situated between Holland and France, is now said to be a derelict wasteland. Life for most Belgians goes on as normal, and no British people are reported hurt.
So, some good news there. Well, before we move on, our apologies for an earlier announcement. It should have read that a number of enemy soldiers had defected in a field and not what Martin Brown would have, which caused several viewers to ring in and ask about the sanitary arrangements. Well, the UN deadline's running out of time, and so are we. So, a look at tomorrow's headlines.
The Guardian has troops to liberate Jitsaki and has a special 6-page pullout on how it will affect the arts.
The Telegraph also concentrates on the possibility of war. Germany invades Poland. Bit of catching up to do there, I think.
The Morning Star has troops out, and the Sun, conversely, has tits out for the troops.
And unable to break the habit of a lifetime, the Mirror front page has Gaza not involved in Jitsaki conflict. Well, let's turn to Major General Herbert, who is going to take us in detail through the likely battle scenario.
Well, I've drawn up 57 possible plans of action. Firstly...
And now we must leave you and go straight over to the newsroom.
Hello, within the last few minutes we have just heard that the military junta on the tiny island of has completely surrendered and the legitimate government has been restored. A government spokesman says that everything is now back to normal. Mike.
We have to go straight over to Lieutenant General Nicholas Strathmine out on for his comments on this sensational news.
Now, I have to keep this brief, I'm afraid, but I would like to say that the spirit of the troops has been without doubt exceptional. The courage of those in the front line has, for me, been one of the highlights. And although I shouldn't want to pick out any particular individual, I feel as if I must make mention of Colonel Brigadier Harry Johnson, who's been such fun to work with. I'd also like to thank my agent, who's been so supportive, and say hello to my parents, if they're watching. Hello, Mum. Without whom, of course...
Well, before the Lieutenant General gets round to thanking Dickie Attenborough for writing
this speech.
Oh, sadly too late.
General, any last comments?
I'm afraid I can't comment for operational reasons.
Oh, yes, I was forgetting your lobotomy. General Major?
Yes, look, I've been booked for 3 hours, you know.
Yes, well, don't worry, stick around. I'm sure we can make use of you on our next programme.
But for now, we return you to our normal programmes.
Welcome back after the war. This is Matt Hattie for the next half hour of Turning Up the Tummy. So, let's get straight on with it and stretch out back and then stretch now. Come on, Major General. Use those legs.
KYTV, round-the-clock 24-hour news service. No, I'm afraid there's no one here at the moment. Can you call back in office hours?